Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the Wasaga Beach Council meeting from May 28, 2026. Now, if you live in the area or even if you just love visiting, you know that late May is when the energy really starts shifting towards summer. And as we're going to see today, the town's local government is completely gearing up for it. We're going to break down the key decisions from this meeting and see exactly how the town is preparing for the busy season ahead.
Now, I know when you first look at a municipal agenda, it can look, well, a bit intimidating. Rather than reading you a dry 21-item bureaucratic list of bylaws and staff reports, we're going to pull out the most important pieces. Let's look at what these council decisions actually mean for you, for your family, and for the town's future.
To make things easy, we've broken this down into four main areas: summer fun and community, infrastructure and public safety, rules, reports, and administration, and finally, what happens behind closed council doors.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Summer Fun and Community.
Okay, this is a massive win if you love hitting the beach. Previously, the designated swim zone in beach areas 1 and 2 stopped right at 3rd Street, but now, Council has approved a huge expansion, pushing that zone westerly all the way down to 12th Street. That is a whole lot of extra shoreline, fully dedicated to safe, designated swimming for this season.
And you know what's really fantastic about this expansion? The price tag. It comes with a very modest estimated cost of just $11,000. The council approved this unbudgeted amount to be funded straight from general reserves or any available in-year surplus. It's a relatively small administrative tweak, but it delivers a literally massive recreational benefit for anyone heading down to the water.
But hey, it's not all just about the beach, right? The town is also stepping up to give back to the community. They've officially approved an in-kind donation, granting the use of the Wasaga Beach Stars Arena walking track for the Collingwood and Area Special Olympics annual walkathon. That's coming up on July 18th, 2026. It's just a really great example of local infrastructure being leveraged to support some truly fantastic local causes.
Moving right along, let's look at Section 2, Infrastructure and Public Safety.
So in a very clear sign of the changing seasons, as we gear up for summer, we officially have to say goodbye to winter. Council just received the formal end-of-season summary for the Winter Warming Center. It's basically an administrative bow tied on the colder months, which officially allows the town to pivot its resources toward the big summer influx.
Now, a big part of running a town is just keeping an eye on things, making sure everything works. Council looked over a slate of routine, but absolutely vital performance reports. We're talking the Fire Department Incident Report for April, the 2025 Emergency Management Compliance Results, and Water and Wastewater Reports covering January through April. It's definitely not the most glamorous part of local government, sure, but these are the exact reports that ensure your water is clean and emergencies are handled efficiently. Looking a bit further down the road, literally, they also reviewed a traffic report for Silver Birch Avenue at Bay Court. The big takeaway here is that they are actively planning for better pedestrian safety. They've directed staff to include a proposal in the first draft of the 2027 budget to install about 130 meters of a 1.5-meter-wide concrete sidewalk right along the south side of Silver Birch Avenue. Specifically, this new infrastructure is going to connect the current sidewalk terminus at Silver Birch Trail Loop all the way to Silver Sands Crescent. The estimated cost for this is about $40,000. So by getting this into the 2027 draft budget now, they're laying the groundwork for a much more walkable community in the near future.
Okay, let's pivot to Section 3, Rules, Reports, and Administration.
Listen up. If you're planning on renting a town facility anytime soon, whether it's for a community gathering or a private party, you'll want to take careful note of this. The Council has officially made liability insurance a mandatory condition for all facility rental agreements. And importantly, this rule takes effect strictly on June 1, 2026, no exceptions. Staff already have the green light to make those minor administrative tweaks to the rental agreements to enforce this right away.
Council also handled some standard corporate housekeeping during this meeting. They reviewed the Buy Ontario Act, and they had an important presentation to shareholders regarding the 2025 audited financials and year-end review for Wasaga Beach Sports and Entertainment. Keeping these kinds of corporate and provincial alignments in check is just a massive part of what a town council has to do week in and week out. And finally, that brings us to Section 4, Behind Closed Council Doors. Now, I always find this part fascinating because there's always a bit of mystery surrounding the mandatory closed session of the meeting. Under the Municipal Act, councils are allowed and sometimes actually required to completely clear the room. No public, no cameras, so they can discuss highly sensitive information.
It's standard practice, absolutely, but it's always intriguing to see exactly what categories they are discussing in there.
Well, according to the agenda, Council met privately this time to discuss two major confidential topics. First up, under Section 239 of the Municipal Act, they discussed the proposed acquisition or disposition of land, basically the town buying or selling property. Second, they discussed commercial business lands, specifically involving advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege. While we obviously don't know the exact parcels of land or the specific businesses being discussed, these types of secret, behind-the-scenes negotiations are exactly what shape the future commercial and physical footprint of Wasaga Beach.
And that brings us to the end of today's meeting overview. So what does this all mean for you? Well, from massively expanded swim zones that will give you way more space on the beach, to planning new sidewalks, to those secret land deals we just talked about, local government impacts your daily life in some pretty profound ways. So, as you head out to enjoy that expanded swim zone this summer, I want to leave you with this question. How are you going to get involved in shaping your town's future? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this gives you a clearer view of what's happening right in your own backyard.